Hello, Mr. Min. My name is Lin. Welcome to our presentation about self-concept and lifestyle. I will be start with the learning objective one. What is self-concept? Self-concept is defined as the totality of the individual thought and feeling having reference to himself or herself as a subject. So, self-concept is reflect by the relationship with individual with other people, like social they play in society, the similarity they have with other people. So that's why we have two types of dimension self-concept, private self and social self. Private self is how I actually see myself, how I that's just can rely when I actually sit there and deeply think about yourself and how I would like to see myself. How I actually see myself and how I would like to see myself always have a gap between them. About social self is how other actually see me and how I would like to see other to see me. How I would like other to see me is like the brain that I try to make people think about me, that my image, and how other actually see me is what actually that they see me in real life. Maybe I think that I'm a kind people, but other people feel they don't feel like me. So what marketer do is tries to evaluate the gap between the consumer actual and ideal self concept. Although campaign like real beauty always make people that think about their actually see their beauty inside them and connect to people, make people don't feel like really selfish about their appearance. That is what the marketing should do. They create a portfolio that the people should aim to become. The next one is interdependent and independent self-concept. Interdependent usually asks some question like what I have done, what I have, what personal characteristic that I have. Like I talk about me as a funny people, that's a responsibility people, and many kinds of this. This is what we actually should ask ourselves to know that what we think that is really the most important when what activity we can use to maybe describe ourselves about individual with interdependent self-concept. They can be they can be refined. They can be defined by ask some questions like what social role I play, what types of family relationship that I have, and what community that I have with others. That's just like when I call myself as my mother daughter. This is my interdependent self-concept. And with some people with independent self-concept, they want to look at some product that can talk more about themselves. Like Legend Coffee have a cafe năng lượng, which is the coffee for creative and for some people that wish to become a leader. So the people that follow individual self-concept maybe really like them. And and in contrast with Knorr thêm chút mới lạ kể nhà ngon khỏe. This is an advertisement for some people with interdependent self-concept who always want to try to reinforce their relationship with other people. They maybe really like to watch the ads. That's why interdependent and interdependent self-concept can affect our message preferences, consumption of luxury goods, and the types of product preference. Possession and the extended self. Extended self, like we can understand that a product is not just a product anymore. If it's happened very regularly in our life and this involve consumer life, it's become a part of consumer life. Maybe people usually define themselves in part by possession when they use the product over a long time. Maybe this can connect us with important memory of life transition or during a peak experience. That's why we have something that we usually remember most of the time. It's become our part of life, even when this is just a product, like an Omo. They usually advertising that Omo connect with memories when the first day that we go to school. So with some people, Omo is really related with the life, and that is their extended self. Measuring concept. we have so many ways to find out our self-concept. But here that I introduced to you the self-concept that we can understand that we can do it by myself later to find out actual and desired private and social self-concept. And this is the end of my presentation. Self-concept is also have to position the product or do some marketing techniques. That is when a position product that they actually know that what their consumer want, and so they have some way that can define that can position the brand maybe right the way that can come straightforward to other people. And about marketing ethnic, maybe they can understand the difference in ethnic detail, so they will not have make some problem that can affect their marketing activities.
Hello, Mr. Mun. My name is Nguyen, and I'm going to present learning objective 2, define lifestyle and its relationship to the self-concept and psychographics. So, in simpler terms, lifestyle is how a person lives. So, lifestyle is shaped through past experience, innate characteristic, and current situation. So lifestyle and how lifestyle and self concept related is that um how a person express their self concept through action. So this action is lifestyle. So for example, a person is define themselves as having a independent lifestyle or self concept. They will have a adventurous lifestyle. So, lifestyle and psychographics, how they relate is that psychographics is the quantitative measure of lifestyle. So it includes the dimensions are attitude, value, activities and interest, demographics, media patterns, and usage rate. So that's the end of my presentation.
So welcome to my presentation. I will introduce for you about the explain specific lifestyle typologies and a summary for luxury, small car, and technologies. So first, we will go to the general versus specific lifestyle segments, explain the specific lifestyle typologies, and a summary for luxury, small car, and technologies. Much like the innovator and early adapter, lady adapter. And the second is car explain specific lifestyle typologies and a summary though for luxury sport car and technologies. So everyone know that Stockholm is have a 27% opportunity and driven value power in the controls and expect to be notices elastic 24% blue blood don't see car as an extension of their personality. Broad parent have 23% by to satisfy themselves. A car is their reward for hard work, and a fantastic 9% uses their car as an escape, not to impress, feel a bit guilty for owing a Porsche. And the last is teach explain specific lifestyle technologies and summary though for luxury small car and technologies. And Wizard have 31% technologies is like driven by desire for new technologies for improving all aspects of life. Journeyman have 30% technologies is an important part of the life lifestyle from Wizard. Brentic have 31% technologies is changing the life. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Next, we will move on to part 4, general lifestyle typologies for vows and prism. First is the vows. Vows stands for values, attitudes, and lifestyle. It is a segmentation system based on the following 8 consumer segments: innovators, thinkers, achievers, experiencers, believers, strivers, makers, and survivors. These segments were derived based on 2 dimensions that determine the types of goals and behaviors that individuals will pursue. First is the primary motivation, which consists of ideals representing beliefs and values, achievement representing social position and influence, and self-expression representing individuality by physical activity and excitement. So in total, consumers will buy something that is functional and would give them status symbol and experience. For example, if you consider an individual with a high income level, you might observe that this person prefers to buy uh, products from premium brands like Dior or Versace because they serve a purpose, they give them status, and give them experience for future shopping. And the second dimension is the resource, which reflects the ability to pursue their dominant self-orientation, whether it's psychological, physical, demographic, and any other material means on which that those consumers can obtain. And finally, the prism. So prism is a consumer segmentation system that classifies every household into consumer segments, which there are 68 of them. Segments are defined according to the socioeconomic rank, including income, education, occupation, home value, and technology use.
So now we can discuss about international lifestyle. We will follow this segment framed by Roberts company in New York, and they have interviewed 35,000 consumers in 35 countries to identify value across national border. And we have 6 segments: driver, devout, outros, intimate, fun seeker, and reality. And about driver, it's 20% our and position and home material thing is really important, and valuing real status, ambition, or power. But I think this research have something changed right now because it's quite old. As people who try not only in middle A or in position of authority, but young people can see you on a striver group. And about devout like religious, they have a strong belief in fair duty and respect for fair, and is it obvious they have to do um with like obedient respect for our elder. And about our church is like it have 10%, 80% of that, and they are very external focus, and often it's in social problem and code, and the majority are female and around age of 44, and about intimate it may have 50% of that, and this like low relationship, like friend or husband wife or something like that, and is and some according to some research where we're targeting if you're selling familiar consumer brand for intimate. And about fun seeker like people who are love of life and they accept food, music, game, or movement or travel, and they belong to the youngest group. Nowadays we can see more represented as fun seeker. And about reality, so reality is like it's the smaller group 10%, and are interested in learning knowledge and technology, and they are highest consumer of media, especially newspaper, magazine, or something like that. So that's the end of our representation. Thank you for listening. Now, this chapter we're gonna discuss about situation influence in chapter 13, and we will follow this table content to easily understand, and I will go on the first one is with the situational influences. So situational like a term for situational factor that influence consumer decision, and it's like a temporary condition that affect how buyer behave, and it's like including things like physical factor, social factor, time factor, and the reason for the buyer purchase and the buyer mood, and is defined. Its meaning in for situational influence. I'll give you a sample. You know, if you have you ever feel like on a going shopping spree, so people more temporarily affect their spending pattern, and some people enjoy shopping. It's entertaining for them. At the extreme, compulsive spender who get a temporary high from spending, but contract from that a sad or unhappy mood can spoil consumer decide to shop. They don't want to buy anything, and it marketing needs something to do for that's type of people, something like that. We will have four type of situational influencing, and the next person will talk about that.
Hello, Mr. Mun. My name is Nguyen, and I'm going to present learning objective to explain the 4 types of situation and their relevance to marketing strategy. So the 4 types of situation are communication situation, purchase situation, usage situation, and disposition situation. So the relation, some marketers must use situation to implement their marketing strategy. So, for example, the communication situation is when is the situation when the consumer receives information. So the marketers must be able to determine what message should be delivered in an advertisement. For the purchase situation, is when is the situation where a purchase is made. So, for example, the effect of mood on buying beverages. And the usage situation is the situation in which the product or service is being used. So, for example, the ability to expand beyond the traditional uses for a given product. So, people could use shampoo for cleaning their for laundering their stuff. That is the expansion of traditional uses. For this position situation, a product or a product package is disposed either after or before the product use. So, for example, the factors contributing to recycling behavior. Yeah, so that's it for my part. Thank you for listening.
Welcome, gentlemen, to Learning Objective 3, Situational Characteristic and Consumption Behavior. And my name is Lynn again. So situational characteristic is that we defined before that the situation can be described on a number of dimensions that determine the influence on consumer behavior, and they have 5 key dimensions right here. So the first one is physical surrounding. The definition is the sum of all the physical feature of a retail environment. That is maybe the color, music, and something like this, which can affect consumer behavior. Like atmosphere influence consumer judgment on store quality and image. Atmosphere always refers to as servicescape when describing a service business such as hospital, bank, or restaurant. Some technology of service environment right here, and we can just make them as a document for more information. Like dry shop will be dry cleaner, bank, fast food, hair salon, vegetable, coffee, and Starbucks, and so on. We have some component of physical surrounding. So the first one is color. Like we previously have that in chapter 9, that certain color and color characteristic create feeling, like red create motivation, purple create something that may be romantic a little bit, or black we're concerned to death in some country. So that is why color can affect to consumer behavior, affect to their attitude and perception. Aromas is there increasing evidence that odor can affect consumer shopping. Music. Music influences consumer mood, which influence a variety of consumption behavior. It may be some old store, they want to play maybe some musician that play violin, piano, which is can create kind of effect to the consumer attitude and perception, make them believe that, make them feel that they really want to go deep into this atmosphere and buy some product in here. Crowding generally produce negative outcome for both the retail outlets and the consumer. We have different types of product that we want to wear when we go to when we go to a different place with different people. We cannot wear some clothes that we use to shopping with when we go to date with someone like this. And a social surrounding is when the other people present in the particular situation. Temporal perspective is when we have to deal with the effect of time on consumer behavior. Limited purchase time, often limited research. That is basically when we have just amount of time, like 1 hour or 2 hours to buy some product at a store. We will maybe don't have enough time to make a decision. So that's why internet shopping is growing rapidly as a result on the time pressure feel by consumer. We can just we just lay in bed all day to search for to buy a little bit thing that maybe we can just need to 10 to 12 minutes when by the store. The next one is task definition. Task definition is the reason the consumption activity is occurring. We usually have something that maybe for ourselves or maybe mostly by gift giving. They have some reason like social expectation, which like consumption, and to experience return flair. And the last one is accident stage. Mood. This is tension feeling state that are generally not tied to a specific or object. That one day that I instantly feel really bad, that I go want to go to shopping. This is the change in the feeling. That is deep inside us. This is not like we happy or we bad that maybe appear now in our face. This is something inside. And momentary condition. This is the temporary state of being, like we instantly boring, for example. And this also can affect our consumer behavior. And this is my presentation. Thank you for your listening.
So welcome to my presentation. Today I'm going to present for you about a discuss ritual situation and their importance to consumer and the marketer. So first we will go to ritual situation. Everyone that even reach the chapter that know that situation ritual is that a ritual that arises as needed, frequently in a time of crisis. Crisis ritual, a ritual that arises spontaneously, frequently in time of crisis, periodic or calendrical ritual. Example of workplace ritual can include morning coffee run, lunchtime game, and after work food and drink. Employers should consider experimenting with the ritual as a way to bring employees closer together, say a researcher. And next, we will go to the ritual situation in the business. Rituals are essentially observable consumer behavior with a strong emotional cause consumer and engage in them repeatedly in at the regular interval when the consumption or usage of one or more product is closely intertwined with the ritual, then that ritual become a consumer ritual. So that is the ritual situation in the business, especially in consumer behavior. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
And finally, We will find out about the use of situational influence in developing marketing strategy. So, situational influences are temporary conditions that affect how buyers behave, whether they are buying the product, they will buy additional products, or maybe they won't buy anything from you. So, situational influences have direct influence on customers' characteristics, as well as interaction that they have with the product and the product's own characteristics that can influence their buying behavior. We have a set of factors that are related to situational influences that can affect buying behavior. First is the physical factors. It indicates how long you spend shopping, as well as how you handle crowding, weather, location, and the environment around the place that you shop at. They are the factors that you can or cannot control when you go out and buy your stuff. Next is the social factors that they are related to the people that you know. For example, it is a clear difference between a stranger that sells stuff to you against a relative, like your neighbor or your family members that sell the same product to you. Next is the time. How much time do you feel like you have to shop? Or maybe are you a day shopper or a night shopper? Next is the reason. There are many reasons that you would go out and buy stuff. It could be out of convenience, out of necessity, like you have an emergency and you need to buy something real quick, or it's just a part of your daily routine. Shopping mood is also a great factor, mainly shopping spree. Whether you love shopping too much that you spend a huge sum of money out of control, or do you shy away from shopping because you don't have enough money? Uh, all of this will be factors that marketers will take consider into. They will observe buyers. They will make focus group discussions, surveys, interviews, and they will use secondary data to discover the factors that influence the consumption of the product. They will also survey a larger sample of customers and evaluate the results to better understand and quantify how the product is used and the benefits sought in the usage situation by the market segment. Ultimately, they will develop and implement a marketing strategy based on what they have prepared on their research and studies that will fit into customer categories and brings sufficient profit potential within their capabilities. And that is the end for this chapter. Thank you for listening.